Hello Year 6, hope everyone is well and looking forward to their maths lesson. Just giving you some advice on what to do. Hopefully you've got all the other videos and other sources supporting you, and you seem to be doing really well. I'm very encouraged by what you're doing, and your independence that you're showing is fantastic. You're going to hear a term today, proportion, and we're going to look at what that means. So how is that related to ratio and what you're doing? Well, proportion is actually just a way that we measure ratio. Ratios you're given. For example, you might be given a ratio of 1, and we know that's the ratio symbol, to 5, okay? But then you're giving proportions. You're being given, some examples. And I'm going to give you an example here using that ratio. So this is actually a ratio that relates to pupils on the local football team. So for every one team, there has to be 5 pupils. This is what my ratio says. So for one team, 5 pupils. So I might get a question, how many teams can I make with 20 pupils? Well, this is the amount of pupils over here. This is the proportion of pupils in a team. So what can I do? The information I've got is 20 pupils, and I know it has to be 5 in one team. Well, I'm going to use this operation. I'm going to use division to get the correct answer. I'm going to divide the pupils, the amount of pupils, by the proportion that needs to be in each team. So I'm going to divide 20 by 5, and 5 goes into 20 4 times when shared equally. So my answer for that question would be, how many teams can I make with 20 pupils? Well, I can make 4 teams, and we can test that out as well when we look at our ratio and proportion here. One team is 5 players, 2 teams would be 10, 3 would be 15, 4 would be 20. Yes, amazing. Okay, what about if I have another question that could come up would be, what about if I have 10 teams, how many pupils? 10 teams, how many pupils? Well, I could go 1 team's 5, 2 teams 10. It's a lot of effort though. What I could do though is take the amount that's in here that's given to me. Because in maths, the question always will give you a clue as to what needs to be done. So 10 teams. So I'm actually going to go, that's my proportion. This is my ratio here, 1 to 5. The proportion is 1 team has 5 pupils. So actually, if I didn't have 10 teams, I want to know how many pupils. If I times that, use this operation, if I times that by 10, and I've done that to this side of the ratio, so I've changed its proportion, I've times that up to 10, I can times this by the same. So if I times this by 10, I'm going to times this by 10. Remember we looked at that relationship between fractions and ratio, okay, that language out of. Remember with fractions, if we do something to the top, we do it to the bottom. With ratio, if I've times this side, I times this side. Okay, and if I've times this side, I times this side by the same amount. So times this by 10, 1 times 10, so I've got 10 teams. 10 times 5 is 50. So for 10 teams, I need 50 pupils. Okay, that was brief, and I hope it sticks in your mind. Please go back and look at that and think of the way I'm using the language.